The Texas Turnaround. Rita Johnson had always been a fighter, the kind of woman who stared down life's storms with a steely gaze honed from years in the Texas heat. At 71, she lived in a modest ranch-style house in a suburban Dallas neighborhood, where the lawns were manicured and the pickup trucks gleamed under the relentless sun. Her husband, Earl, had died 20 years ago in a factory accident at the old steel mill in Fort Worth, crushed under a faulty crane that the company swore was up to code. The settlement had been meagre, but Rita stretched it like taffy, combining it with her Social Security checks and the pension from her days as a diner waitress. She'd scrimped and saved, eating canned beans and mending her own clothes, all to build a nest egg for her twilight years. But that nest egg had been pecked away over the last 3 years by her only son, Mike, and his wife, Leah. They lived in a cramped apartment complex just a few miles away, in a part of town where rents climbed faster than oil prices. Mike worked sporadic construction jobs, always between gigs, while Leah dabbled in online sales of handmade jewellery that never quite took off. Rita paid their $800 monthly rent, bought their groceries when the fridge ran empty, and even furnished their place with second-hand couches and a flat-screen TV from Walmart. Family takes care of family, she'd tell herself, echoing the words. Her mama had drilled into her back in the dusty panhandle town where she grew up. It was a sweltering Saturday in July when the betrayal hit her like a freight train. Rita had invited Mike and Leah over for a backyard BBQ, her treat, of course. She'd spent the morning slow-cooking brisket in her smoker, the kind Earl used to man with pride, and whipping up potato salad with extra pickles, just how Mike liked it. The air smelled of mesquite and sunscreen as they lounged under the string lights she'd strung up herself. Rita picked up her old landline phone to call her sister in Austin, bubbling with excitement about Mike and Leah's upcoming wedding. She'd been saving for months, setting aside $1,500 for a gift, and had even bought a new sundress from JCPenney, turquoise, to match the Texas sky. But as she dialed, Leah caught her eye from across the picnic table, flashing a smile that chilled Rita to her core. "Oh, Rita, we already tied the knot yesterday," Leah said casually, sipping her iced tea. "Kept it small. Just special people." Special. People. The words landed like a slap from a cattle prod. Rita froze, the phone heavy in her hand. She, who had wired $500 every month for their rent without fail, who had driven to Costco at dawn to stock their pantry when Mike lost his last job, who had co-signed their car loan and paid the down payment, she wasn't special. Mike avoided her gaze, poking at his brisket with a plastic fork, while Leah stretched out on the lawn chair Rita had bought them last Christmas. The turquoise dress hung useless in her closet that night, along with the dreams of standing proudly. In wedding photos, her arm linked with Mike's. She'd imagined the toasts, the laughter, the family finally whole again. Instead, she scrolled through Facebook on her ancient laptop and saw the truth. Photos from a quaint chapel in Arlington, Leah in a white lace dress, paid for with the $600 emergency fund Rita had sent last month, her parents beaming, siblings clinking champagne glasses. No Rita, no mention of the woman who'd kept them afloat. A week later, Leah called, her voice dripping with false sweetness turned desperate. "Rita, hon, the rent's overdue. Landlord's threatening eviction if we don't pay by Friday. You forget. The transfer?" Rita sat at her kitchen table, staring at the faded linoleum where Earl used to read the Dallas Morning News. She'd eaten ramen for weeks to cover their emergencies, car repairs, Leah's boutique supplies, even a weekend getaway to South Padre Island. Over 3 years she'd tallied it up. 28 hours, $800 in rent alone, plus $5,000 in groceries, $2,500 in gifts, and miscellaneous handouts pushing the total past $40,000. Money from Earl's blood, from her aching feet after double shifts. "Leah, Rita," said, her voice steady as a Lone Star horizon. "Didn't I tell you I only help special people?" The line went silent, thicker than Texas humidity. For once it was Leah who stammered. "Rita, what? We're family. You're like a mama to me." Lies, Wrapped in that honeyed drawl Leah pulled out like a secret weapon, the same one she'd used to wheedle money for the wedding dress, the rings, the honeymoon they never invited Rita to celebrate. Rita hung up, her heart pounding not with fear, but with a fire she hadn't felt since Earl's funeral. That night, tears came. Hot, angry ones. Not for sadness, but for the fool she'd been, trading her golden years for crumbs of affection. She cried for the working-class widow who'd become invisible, her love a burden, her presence an afterthought. By morning, something shifted. Rita looked in the mirror, seeing not just wrinkles from sun and sorrow, but the grit of a woman who'd survived. Dust bowls and downturns. She brewed strong coffee, black as oil, and skipped her usual call to Mike. Instead, she pulled out her checkbook and did the math again. $40,000 gone. Enough for a cruise, a new roof, or just peace. The phone rang. Mike. She let it go to voicemail. "Mom, we need to talk. This ain't right." Delete. Then Leah. "Rita, please." Ignore. By afternoon, Rita walked to the park where she'd pushed Mike on swings as a boy, remembering his sticky hugs and, "You're the best, Mum." When had he become this? A 35-year-old man treating her like a walking wallet. At the bank, she cancelled. The automatic transfers. The teller, a young woman named Maria who'd processed them for years, raised an eyebrow. "You sure, Mrs. Johnson? You've been so good to them." "I'm sure," Rita said. "Time to be good to myself." Her phone buzzed non-stop on the way home. Texts, calls, voicemails laced with panic. She turned it off, feeling lighter than a tumbleweed in the wind. When she pulled into her driveway, 3 cars waited. Mike's beat-up Ford, Leah's SUV, co-signed. By Rita, and a sleek sedan she didn't know. Through the window, shadows moved in her living room. Her blood ran cold. They had keys given in trust, back when she thought family meant forever. Taking a deep breath, Rita opened the door. Mike, slouched on her couch, head in hands. Leah paced like a penned bull. The stranger, a man in a crisp suit, rifled through her papers on the dining table. Bank statements, Earl's will. "What in God's name?" Rita demanded, her voice booming like thunder over the plains. Leah spun, eyes wide. "Rita, thank heavens, we need to talk. This is Mr. Harlan, our lawyer. He's here about your situation." "My situation?" Rita echoed, snatching her documents. "Y'all broke in." Mike looked up, eyes pleading but edged with greed. "Mom, the bank said you cancelled everything. We're worried. You've been acting strange. Cuttin'." "Us off ignoring calls. Maybe professional help?" Leah nodded, tears welling artfully. "At your age, confusion's normal, Rita. Loneliness can do that." Confusion. The word ignited Rita like dry brush in wildfire season. They weren't here to help. They aimed to declare her incompetent, seize her accounts. The same Leah who'd sneered special people now played concerned daughter-in-law. "I ain't confused," Rita snapped. "I'm crystal clear. Get out, all y'all." Mr. Harlan extended a hand. "Mrs. Johnson, your family has rights. We've documented erratic behaviour, financial cuts, isolation. A power of attorney could help manage things. Temporarily." Rita tossed his folder in the trash. "The only transition is y'all to the door." Leah's tears turned furious. "You can't do this. We counted on you. Bills, rent, the car you co-signed. Everything will be ours someday anyway." There it was, naked. Truth. Rita as a placeholder, her life a prelude to their inheritance. Mike added, "Mum, we messed up with the wedding. It was a mix-up. Be reasonable." "Reasonable means bankrolling y'all while y'all treat me like dirt." Rita pointed to the door. "Out." As they left, Mike muttered, "This'll end bad for you, Mum. Alone, no one to care when you need it." "I'm already alone," Rita replied, "by choice now." Silence descended, sweet as rain after drought. That night, adrenaline kept her awake, planning like a rancher prepping for roundup. By dawn, she called attorney Lila Torres, a no-nonsense Texas family lawyer known for bulldogging elder abuse cases. "Mrs. Johnson," Lila said in her office downtown, overlooking the Trinity River, "this is classic financial exploitation. Document everything. Transfers, gifts, pressures. We'll change your will, get a restraining order if needed." They pored over records, $40,000 in black and white. "You could have travelled the world," Lila whistled. "Instead, you funded ingrates." Next stop, Home Depot for new locks. The clerk, an old-timer, nodded knowingly. "Family troubles?" Rita just smiled. Then she hired a tech to install Ring cameras. And ADT security, eyes on her domain. Leah called from a burner phone that afternoon. "Rita, let's fix this. Dinner at your place? Cook together like old times." "How much rent y'all owe?" Rita cut in. 2 months, only $600, but we miss you." "Miss me or my money?" Rita hung up, then headed to the salon for a cut and colour. Her first in a year, guilt-free. Her neighbour, Betty Sue, waved from the porch. "Heard the ruckus yesterday. You okay?" Over coffee, Rita spilled the story. Betty Sue nodded. "Went through it with my boy. Cut the cord. It hurts, but heals." Hope flickered. Rita slept soundly, dreaming of open roads. Escalation came swift. Cars cruised her street, Mike's, Leah's, scouting like coyotes. Rita logged it all. Then, a knock. A social worker from Dallas County Adult Protective Services. "Report of at-risk situation," the woman said. "Changes in behaviour, family cut-off, paranoia with cameras." Rita called Lila, who arrived guns blazing. "This is harassment. My client's competent. Here's proof of abuse." The worker reviewed documents, eyes widening. No intervention needed. But Mike and Leah pressed on, filing for guardianship, claiming incompetence. Witnesses. Leah, a nosy neighbour, a duped pharmacist. Lila countered with a psych eval. Rita aced it, sharper than a tack. Rita joined a senior book club at the local library, Oprah's Picks, like The Women by Kristin Hannah, Tales of Resilience. There she found kindred spirits, women who'd battled their own storms. "You're reclaiming your life," one said. Volunteering at the VA hospital followed, reading to vets, honouring Earl's service in Vietnam. It filled her days with purpose, not obligation. The court date loomed in Dallas County, Rita in her best pantsuit, Lila by her side. Mike and Leah sat stone-faced, their lawyer painting Rita as manipulated, declining. Leah testified tearfully. "She's like a mum, devastated by her decline." Lila cross-examined. "When do you last call without asking for cash?" Stammers. Mike faltered under questions about the $40,000. Witnesses crumbled. Rita's shone, psych report, bank records, book club friends testifying to her vitality. On the stand, Rita spoke clear. "I stopped because I realised it wasn't love, just transaction. My money welcome, me not." The judge ruled, "Mrs. Johnson is competent, petition denied, motivated by greed, not care." Victory tasted like sweet tea. That night, book club celebrated with BBQ, real this time. 3 months later, Rita road-tripped. To the Grand Canyon in her old Chevy, wind in her hair, rugged independence her compass. She marvelled at the vast chasm, feeling small yet mighty. Back home, she donated to AARP's elder programs, then started a blog, Reclaiming Your Golden Years, posts on boundaries, self-worth, second chances. Readers flooded in, sharing stories. Mike. And Leah. Word was they downsized, got jobs. Maybe they'd learn. Rita didn't care. At 72, under Texas stars, she knew freedom's the ultimate second chance.